So Nerdlocker wanted to do a little piece on DC's relaunch of all 52 of their titles to give you a little bit of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Me and Jasmine are here to talk about the positives.
There is a plus to that, I swear.
Definitely. I mean, I'm excited about so much about this. You know, and Green Lantern actually still happened, so Blackest Night and all that still happened, and we get a little bit of a chance for new readers to get on board. Now, most people that are reading now and that are fans of the books that they're currently reading think that's a terrible reason to be excited for this.
It's sort of a cop-out, but at the same time, like, I've been reading comics for about 2 years, so there's tons of stuff that people talk about that I may not have read yet, and it's cool because I can go back and sort of redo things.
Yeah, what's always bothered me about comics in general, but especially DC, is that so much has happened. And when I read a book, there is a lot, and no matter what anybody says, there is still going to be little hints of things that you don't have any clue about.
You have to go back and read this trade and that trade and this trade.
And yes, you can read it. You can read it without having to read all that stuff. But, I mean, you feel
There's
bad.
backstory.
You want to know all that other stuff, you know? Like, I just want to know all the trials and tribulations of Batman, and I have to go back and read all that stuff to understand why he is who he is today. As seeing it from a new reader's point of view, I can see why this would be great.
I think when new readers come in, like in the first week that I started reading comic books, I read about 12 trades to get caught up on what was currently going on so I could read Blackest Night. So I think it's really daunting for people who want to get into comics, especially with all the movies that are out right now. It's really hard because unless you have a friend who works at a comic shop or is really, really ridiculously into it and has back issues galore, it's really scary, especially with the whole myth of the comic shop being that dark and dusty place with the guy with the cat who's hates you for no reason. So it's cool for that matter in terms of new readers, us getting to start over but still having awesome stories. A lot of people feel as though DC is just trying to make more money, which I can see on the one hand. However, they have an opportunity to change things, and it'd be cool because you're giving some new writers and artists and some old ones fresh chances to do different things.
And if nothing else, there have been, and I'm not trying to offend anybody here, but there have been a lot of crap titles that have been started in DC in the last 5 years or so that nobody really wants to read about anymore, but they're trying to keep up with their numbering and everything like that, and it gets a little bit repetitive. So this, if nothing else, weans out all those crappy titles that we have been sick of seeing on the shelves in the first place, and brings us possibly a chance to read some really good stories. And I mean, with all the talent that are going to be on these books, I'm all for it.
So that was some of the positives, and Cubby and Brandon have some of the negatives.
Hey guys, Brandon and Cubby here with our negative end of the DC 52 reboot.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Now, I am excited for a lot of books, but the negative ones are the ones that are really weighing down on me, such as the books that I feel are forced, like you got the Sergeant Rock, you got the Black Hawk books, and Resurrection Man. Not that I haven't enjoyed these characters when they've been used, but to give them their own ongoing series seems unnecessary.
It's a big investment to put in characters that haven't been around for years.
Really, and Resurrection Man is, it's cool, he dies, he gets his powers back, but that means essentially every issue he's getting, he's getting the crap kicked out of him.
He's the hero that loses every
He dies,
time.
and then he gets new powers and then wins.
Yeah.
It's cool seeing him with Supergirl or something like that, but to have your own ongoing series,
it's gonna scar Supergirl. He's gonna die, and she's gonna be like, "Oh my God, I couldn't save him." He's gonna be like, "Nope, I'm cool," and she's still.
that was that whole thing,
Exactly.
and it's just I don't know where you're going with that one. I mean,
I don't know. My main problem with this whole thing is the continuity that we've all been reading. Like the last couple years, Identity Crisis. New Frontier never really fit into anything. But Birthright, Superman Birthright was probably one of the best Superman stories I've ever read
down,
in my life.
my favorite
the
Superman
first comic
story
book,
I've ever read.
I will admit, I don't care. The first comic book I ever cried at. That ending killed me.
Absolutely.
It killed me. It really
I will
hit,
100% agree with you on that one.
It hit the heartstrings perfectly. And it's all for nothing.
I
For
don't.
nothing.
And with the continuity stuff, the one thing I've been skeptical about since I saw it was Teen Titans.
Yeah.
Tim Drake, hands down, my favorite character in any comic book, anything. He's the best. And him and Connor, that relationship that was built up when Jeff Johns restarted Teen Titans, and even stuff before that.
Which is an incredible run.
Yeah, and just how close they've come, and now it looks like, Superboy's like this cyborg clone.
Yeah, it's like they're going back to
thing.
the 90s.
I mean, he was a
and,
clone,
like,
but
when
it's
they
all
first introduced
different
him.
with
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
Tron-looking suit.
He has like a bar scanner logo.
Tattoo.
Like, really?
And you're taking that too with Cassie too, and it looks like you're taking that history and that friendship and everything, and just restarting it. And to me, that's it's a kick in the teeth because I've been picking this up monthly for going on 8 years now, and you're gonna take all of that I did and
Get rid of it.
yeah,
It's all for nothing. I have the paper. It's taking up room in my in my house. But,
exactly.
But it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it means something to me, but at the same time, it really doesn't. So that's probably my biggest problem. And here's Bobby and Jazz with some of their picks on what they're looking forward to.
So, Bobby, what are some books that you're excited about?
Probably most of all Aquaman because Jeff Johns is writing it. And he's like God in comics right now. If you read any DC books, he revamps characters in a completely amazing way. He revamped Green Lantern, he revamped Flash, he revamped Booster Gold.
Booster Gold made him good.
And if anybody needs a revamp, it's Aquaman. I mean, he's getting a little stale, so I'm welcoming that, definitely. What are you excited about?
A bunch of books. JLI, because Booster Gold's in it, and Blue Beetle, because Blue Beetle. And Catwoman,
Catwoman, really?
just because the art looks gorgeous. Demon Knights, because Etrigan totally deserves a book more than a lot of other characters in the DCU right now. So
Yeah, I'm also excited about Batgirl. Batgirl's going to be out of the chair and back in the streets again. That's going to be pretty cool. If I have to say anything that I'm not liking about this whole thing, it's definitely going to be Justice League Dark because one of those characters that they're dropping off is Zatanna, and that's one of my favorite characters.
Me too.
They're pushing her into Justice League Dark, which I was completely fine with, but they're taking away her fishnets, and that's wrong. They're giving her pants, and the fishnets are going to her arms. This is a little wrong.
They're changing things. Just let it go.
What has you worried?
Weird Western Tales. Mainly, I love Jonah Hex. Don't get me wrong. However, it has the lowest amount of pre-orders out of all of the books. So it's probably Jonah. If Jeff Johns could revamp anyone, it should be Jonah Hex because he deserves to have a good story. He's a great character that no one gives a chance. So
I really do think I've actually thought about this particular subject. I really think that people aren't picking up that book because it's not called Jonah Hex. I don't think enough people realize that the book is dealing with Jonah Hex. So that's the unfortunate thing about that.
you know what else? Suicide Squad. What did you do to Harley Quinn? You're all crazy. And now back to Brandon and Cody with what they're excited for.
All right, so some of the books that I am stoked for is anything Scott Snyder's going to be writing. Swamp Thing, Batman. I think he's an incredible writer. I've loved everything that I've read from him, and I can't wait to see what he's going to do with a fresh start, with number ones on some of these. Also, the Frankenstein book,
That's
Agent
gonna
of
be an
Shade.
awesome book.
I love that idea, and I love that Frankenstein's getting his own title. I've
Yeah.
always loved that character.
That's one character that needs a title.
The one I'm skeptical about is Teen Titans. Teen Titans have always been my favorite team, period. I don't care who's writing it, I don't care what's going on. I love the Teen Titans, I love the sidekick characters. But since you have Kid Flash, Red Robin, Superboy, and Wonder Girl being on that team, and you're making the relationship different from what I've been invested in the past, 8 years I've been reading.
It's a little iffy.
Very iffy on it, but keep my
costumes?
fingers
Have you
crossed.
seen the costumes?
I know, just
What's up with Kid Flash's costume?
keeping my fingers crossed.
Right. I gotta say, I'm probably most excited for Wonder Woman, just because it's
Yes.
Wonder Woman. It's a brand new start. They're
And
doing
it's
different things with
Azzarello.
her. Yes, yeah, Brian Azzarello is just a great writer. And Bernard Chang also on that. Mm-hmm. You can't ask for anything more with Wonder Woman. Second book I'm most excited for is Superman. He's the big guy. He's the one that started it all. Action Comics #1. I am stoked for this book, mainly because of Grant Morrison, more so because of Rags Morales. He's one of my favorite artists.
Yeah.
In Identity Crisis, it's one of the best visual books. His emotions,
Oh, absolutely.
everything that he puts into those characters.
I think seeing Grant
comes
Morrison
out.
take him off at a #1
Yeah,
is going
that's
to be
going to
awesome.
be really, really interesting. The one I'm a little worried about, but I'm still excited just because the creative team can do no wrong, is Justice League. Justice League, I don't know. It's set 5 years in the past, and things are going to be going on currently that happen in there, and the way it's set up, I don't know, but I'll give it its chance. I'm really, really excited for that book. It's Jim Lee artwork. We're going to get that
Yeah,
on a regular basis.
that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So let us know what you guys think.